some sort of a military response from the Indian Army's side. But what India is doing is it is striking back in the place and manner that suits us and that hits the Chinese the most. We are indeed at this point in time tightening the noose when it comes to Chinese profiteering in India. And in that very light, the first of many moves that India has made is the banning of 59 Chinese applications. That I'm sure many of you know about, and many of your favorite applications may also have been banned at this point in time. And in the latest, Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has come out in the open and has termed India's decision to ban 59 Chinese applications as a digital strike. So that's what they're calling it in the BJP. It's a digital strike against China that India has carried out. And I quote as to what Ravi Shankar Prasad said just a couple of hours ago. We banned Chinese apps to protect data of countrymen. It was a digital strike. India is for peace. But if somebody casts an evil eye, we will give a befitting reply. This is what Ravi Shankar Prasad has said in light of Chinese misadventures along the line of actual control and India's subsequent response to the Chinese in the form of banning 59 applications that have come in from China and that have set up bases right here in India. Now, that is just one of the first moves that the Indian government has taken to ensure that Chinese stop making money out of India. One of the other moves that the Indian government has already taken is that they've in fact cancelled several tenders and several projects that had Chinese investment. Now, this is not just a central effort, but this is an effort that individual state governments on the ground are also taking to ensure that if they have a certain project that may have any link whatsoever financial with China, it is scrapped immediately. So that is one more thing that we're doing on the ground as well. When it comes to a military response, yes, that will happen. Now, if we begin to speak about that, then there is no element of surprise. So let the Jawans at the border do what they do best, and let us just wait for a clear-cut response from their end. But on the other hand, it is not just a one-sided response that India is giving out at this point in time. While we will take care of matters diplomatically and also militarily, on ground we're also trying to ensure that the Chinese make no money out of India. Now, the list of applications that have been banned includes Hilo, Likee, Cam Scanner, Wigo Video, and a few others like Mi Video Call, Xiaomi, Clash of Kings, a very famous game that has been banned as well. And you also have a few e-commerce platforms such as Club Factory and Shein, a few applications that the women may be well versed with that have been banned at this point in time. Now, this, of course, without any doubt, marks the largest sweep against the Chinese technology companies. So where does that keep India, and what really is your view as well is what this brief interaction is all about. I want you to really comment as to what you feel about this move by the Indian government. They've banned 59 Chinese applications and they have termed it a digital strike. Now, yes, as we were just discussing, some of the apps that you may be quite familiar with have also been banned, so there may be a little bit of an outrage, but even if that is the case, kindly do feel free to show some of that. So whatever your view is towards this very move that the Indian government has carried out, you can drop in your comments and express your opinions on that. So yes, what does this mean and where does this leave India, given the fact that we have banned 59 Chinese applications? That really comes to mind is that you will begin to need Indian alternatives, and that things will become more indigenous and desi, so to speak. So you will begin to have Indian alternatives to every single application that has been banned, every single 59 of those applications that have been banned at this point in time. So yes, it is indeed the second point that really I want to address is the fact that it will pave way for several opportunities for Indian entrepreneurs on ground, so that this is in a sense a chance for them to capitalize on whatever is going on the ground situation. So we will begin to have Indian alternatives. It is time for the entrepreneurs to really step up their game, and of course that opens doors for multiple opportunities in order to ensure that you have the bright minds on ground really getting together and carrying out their work. Now, another point that really needs to be highlighted is the fact that once you have Indian alternatives and once you stop using any Chinese product or an application, the money that is being spent on that application or product stays within the country. So that is again a big boost for the Indian economy as well. Now, another important point that the Indian government has also been talking about and which factors in quite heavily is the fact that safety is paramount, sovereignty is very important. So we've spoken about how a few applications, a few dark clouds really came over these few applications, that there may be some sort of a data breach, or maybe data is being transferred from India to other sources to Chinese. So there have been a few fears, and in light of that, safety becomes one of the biggest factors. And without a doubt, when it comes to one of those applications out of the 59 that have been banned, TikTok was one of them, and it goes without saying that India was TikTok's top market. It accounted for almost 30% of its 2 billion downloads worldwide. So imagine the kind of effect we're beginning to have on applications or companies that operate out of China. So yes, when it comes to TikTok itself, they in fact planned to invest as much as $1 billion right here in the country, and they'd even hired several senior executives ever since 2019 to somehow beef up their presence in India itself. Now, that is just one app. The rest of the 58 applications which have some of the other Chinese link have been blocked by the government, and they include WeChat, UC browser, among others. Now, another very interesting factor that I like to share with you when it comes to the UC browser, that is a Chinese company. It also shares news, and they have quite a few subscribers, and they are all about news updates as well. Can you believe it if I were to tell you that UC browser up until this point in time has not even shared a single bit of an information, not a single update that has been shared on whatever has been happening when it comes to the India-China standoff. That is something unbelievable. That's unbelievable levels of journalism that we're talking about. How is it that a news portal is unable to completely not note what is happening at the India-China border? So that is UC browser for you as to how they remained completely mum ever since the standoff began. Not a single update on that. Now, the Indian government's TikTok account, which goes by the name MyGov, also had 1.1 million followers, and it has now been disabled. So the cumulative effect that it will have, it's not just about banning these 59 applications, 59 Chinese applications, it's the kind of cascading effect it will begin to have on the Chinese economy, or at least a part of its economy, is something that has to be noted and cannot be ignored. Now, another application, Sina Weibo, China's answer to, let's just say, Twitter, has in fact deleted Prime Minister Modi's account at the request of the Indian embassy. So we're really plugging out of every possible Chinese avenue at this point in time. So yes, let's take a look as to what a few comments. I think I see one of them at least. One comment by one Mr. Sunil. It says China blocked Facebook, WhatsApp, Google and other top applications for their security reasons. Same India has taken bold move to boost economy. Again, that's a very interesting way to look at it as to how none of the major applications that we use across the world are in a sense functional in China. And the reason why that is the case is because they have termed it as some sort of a security threat. So yes, the times are different, and the reason why we are doing it is also in a sense a little different. It is a response that India is giving back to whatever the Chinese misadventure looked like when it comes to the India-China LAC face-off. So yes, it will have far-reaching repercussions, and one of the many other reasons as to why we've gone ahead and banned these Chinese applications is because, yes, of course, what we were just speaking about, security reasons. So yes, that really factors in, and not too many comments that I see at this point in time, but yes, you should really give it a thought as to what India is doing and whether it is really enough, and what kind of a response should we really be looking at. And at the same time, we should also, as Indian citizens, somewhere down the line, respond to Prime Minister Modi's call of achieving an Atmanirbhar Bharat. That is really the need of the hour. Becoming vocal for local is really the way forward. And you come across any Chinese product in the market, kindly do not go for it. Make sure you go for some alternative that is based out of India, even if it is a little more costly. That's what most people are under the impression at this point in time. So that's where things stand. And yes, once again, I'd like to reiterate that the banning of these 59 Chinese apps is only the beginning. It is only the tip of the iceberg. It's the first of a series of reactions that India is going to give out against China for their misadventure along the line of actual control. So that's been my brief interaction with you folks. Make sure you drop in more comments as you please. And yes, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to News9 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. This is your host Adarsh Vipachedu signing off.